Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Emerging Franchise Brands Podcast. I'm your host, Frank Fiume, here live at the IFA2024 National Convention, and looking forward to interviewing some folks at this year's event. I have Kevin Brandt from Scooters Coffee and legendary I9 Sports teammate of mine from back in the day. Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing great. It is amazing to see you. It truly is. This is going to be fun.
It's been 5 years since we saw each other last. You were such a huge part of the growth of I9. I say you were part of the rocket ship that was taking off. You started up with me back in 2005. You've done some great things though with Scooters Coffee, and I want to talk about Scooters because the company's absolutely exploded. So first of all, we know there's a lot of coffee concepts out there. What's different about Scooters?
So it's truly believing in amazing people, serving amazing drinks, and doing it amazingly fast, and staying true to who we are. But our biggest differentiator from our competition has always been speed of service and delivering on 25 to 30 second window times. So that speed of service is something that has been paramount within our business model. And I will even go on to say 5 years ago, that speed of service was 40 to 45 seconds. So when you look at innovation and how far we have come just in 5 years. So we are at a 20 to 25 second window time, which is, again, biggest differentiator, although there is so much more behind the business and the opportunity.
So obviously, conceptually, there must be something in the process, right? It's all about the process, right? On how they're able to systematize to get at such a tight time frame.
I always go back to it, and not to do a long-winded answer here, but follow the formula to success. That may sound familiar. But it is an organization and a system that's been around for 26 years in April. So I like to say we've had a good running start to perfect our craft. And while I use the word perfected, there is still room for opportunities. So I think it's really being appreciative and thankful for those. And I got to say Don Eccles, the founder of the company, for putting together a model that has lasted where it is today, but just staying true with a focus and an emphasis on speed of service. It is the forefront of what we do. So I think it's the business model itself, but just evolving and not continuing to do business the way that we did 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Just, again, continuing to move forward with best practices.
Nice. I'm shocked because a lot of people don't know Scooters Coffee. How many units do you guys have around the country? This is crazy.
So it's a great question. So we are at the doorstep right now of about 800 stores in right now 29 states. By the end of the year, we are projected to be at 1,000 stores. So maybe the best kept secret that many don't know about. But we are not a small organization or operation, and it goes far beyond that, just the units with the infrastructure, the staff, the warehousing, that supports a growing brand.
Wow, that's awesome. You guys have just blown the doors off. You're just short of Starbucks and Dunkin', right? You guys are the third largest coffee brand?
We're there, and I think it's a little bit of maybe a horse race, behind with some other brands as well. But yes, we're right there.
All right. So how many IFAs is this for you now?
You really put me on the spot. I'm going to throw a random number and say I'm close to 10. I remember the first one was with I9 Sports back in 2005. And to me, it is one of those events that I am adamant about attending. I think it's a great opportunity to engage with other franchise professionals, best practices. But one of the things I truly love about the IFA, about franchising, is that it's truly a very tight-knit community. The fact that I could sit down with another individual that represents a coffee concept and we'll share best practices. Don't give away all the trade secrets, but definitely we can share best practices, and I appreciate that. And I think I'm at a place where I like to give back now when you sit at a round table and share what you know with other individuals who are in my same position 10 years ago.
What are you hoping to get out of this year's IFA?
Man, I think there's a lot of trends. Economics, lending right now, real estate. are two bullet points that I have made it a point of emphasis, not only to learn more about, but to see how we get through some of those challenges that are almost, I don't want to say out of our control, but something that we as a franchisor just can't wrap our arms around.
Right. Yeah. There's obviously big challenges with build out and real estate by itself. It's definitely created a new challenge for us, and kind of see how things go here with interest rates, if they come down a bit, and I don't know.
We can cross our fingers.
Yeah.
We can hope, but I think, in all honesty, as much as it pains me to say it, the days of 6-7% interest rates, I don't want it to be true, but I think those days may be behind us.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that as well. I am so freaking proud of you and impressed. I mean, we were together back in 2005. It was not the easiest days back at I-9. We learned a lot. Those were definitely some of the darker years, our second year in, and you've done so many great things. Obviously, you were in franchise development for us at first, and went to operations, and now you're in Fran Dev at Scooters. Tell me a little bit just about your journey, and what do you feel like, how it's taken you? Has this kind of been a big surprise for you?
Yeah. I don't know if it's been a surprise. I truly am one who believes that things happen for a reason. I believe that, first and foremost, let me say this. We've heard the phrase a lot, mentors, as you attend IFAs, this IFA. So I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you for being that mentor that got me into the business back in 2005-ish. I mean, that is, again, thank you for that. I've got to say that. But the journey has been one that I wouldn't change. I think the lessons that I have learned, the things that I have seen, starting in franchise development and understanding that sales process and that role was a great introduction. But I've got to say, I probably learned the most in operations. Mm-hmm. Being able to cultivate relationships with franchisees was one that was extremely meaningful to me. It helped grow me personally, I think professionally as well. I always say that franchise business consultants have the best job in franchising. And if you can be their business coach first, the friendship with them will come second. You help them make money, they will become your friend. You can't go the other way around. It has to be. So that has helped me become a better salesperson, because I take pride in bringing in just great candidates who become franchisees, because I've got to hand them off to our operations team, to our real estate team. So I take pride in bringing in good candidates. So all those things, or those two areas of sales, operations, and then back into sales, have really shaped and helped me grow professionally, and I would even say as an individual. But the biggest takeaway I'm going to say is the friendships I have held on to from back in the I-9 days with not only the company staff, but the franchisees. There's franchisees from 10 years ago who I talk to on a monthly basis. So wow. That process has just been one I would not change. It has been one that I am extremely grateful for.
That's awesome. All right, I got one more thing for you, Kevin. So Deion Sanders was the keynote speaker yesterday, and he talked about what is your rabbit. So I know you're such a thoughtful person, and I'm curious to know what has driven you. What is your rabbit?
Gosh, I want to give you a really great answer that's an anomaly to something that you haven't heard. It's my family. It is my family. It is my wife. It is my 14-year-old daughter. It is my 6-year-old son. I mean, that is my rabbit. That's what wakes me up, and I think it's also being a role model to them and understanding why Dad wakes up 5 in the morning, why he's behind his computer at 5:30, and then sometimes back at his computer at 8 o'clock at night. They are, without a doubt, my rabbit.
Kevin, I just want to end this by thanking you for being such an integral part of my journey in franchising, and you helped me achieve my dream. And pal, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
I do want to say one thing. Now, you did interview Scott Morgenroth and said he would go on the I-9 Sports Mount Rushmore. Yeah. Is there a place for me on there?
Absolutely.
All right. I appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com.
The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fiume, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.